All right, guys. Welcome to our 2020 football awards ceremony. First up, I'd just like to say thank you to all you guys for the time and effort that you put in this season, whether it started in the off season last January or it started in August. I can't thank you enough. The same goes for our manager girls back there. Thank you so much. Parents and players, players, make sure that you thank your parents as well. Usually they're here and we can give them a round of applause, but they put a lot of work in over the years. Some of you guys started playing ball at a very young age, and there's a lot of trips and just car rides that go into playing this awesome sport. We had parents involved in our booster club, and big thank you to them as well, especially our outgoing senior booster parents as well. Their time has been very much appreciated. As we get going here, I always like to start off with the academic awards first, or all conference academic. And this is just a great reminder as we're in this virtual learning environment now. You guys have to stay on top of your grades. You have to stay on top of your courses. Okay, you've got to be showing up to all your classes, and you've got to be doing your work. The best way to time manage is to do it in the hour, 20 minutes that you're supposed to do it. That's the best way to manage your time. Okay, but our all conference, all academic awards, like I said, I will call you up here, and once you get your award, just go ahead and return back to your seat. All conference, all academic. Up first, Josh Marks. Andrew Bontrager. Trevor Buskin. Dylan Downs. Jeffrey Federhoff is at basketball practice right now. Let's give him a round of applause. Caden Gillen. Dave Martin. Carson McCaleb. Sam Wardle. Jackson Petty. AJ Raines. Gavin Schaefer. Andy Thomas. Nick Turner. Jake Wilson. Josh Workman. Cooper Yates. All right, I would definitely like to see that list grow over the next couple of years, you younger guys. Okay, you gotta have a 3.25 GPA, cumulative GPA. That's over your full time, and have earned that varsity letter. Okay, up next, we're going to start with our freshman awards, and then we'll have our JV awards. But to kind of talk about the freshman season real briefly, I'm going to bring up Coach Flett, and then we'll bring your freshmen up.
This freshman year, it was my first year really getting to do it and be a major head coach. It was really cool. It's kind of the first time I really got to do that opportunity. I was really blessed to get that young group. They were definitely a group that is unique. They're definitely a group that I enjoyed having. They're going to be a group I remember for the rest of my life. One of the things I really picked up from them is, if I had to point out the positives, was that Liberty game. They went into that Liberty game knowing that Liberty won that 8th grade year championship league series. So I can see it in their tone, I can see it in their faces that they didn't feel too comfortable going and playing Liberty. But they really changed their tempo, they changed their attitude, especially at halftime. That was one of the things I like to remember. I like to make memories. And one of my memories I'll remember the most about this freshman group is at halftime, we changed our tempo, we changed our attitude, we came out and we played more physical than a team that I felt like was better than us. And I have a realistic idea of what teams look like and how they feel. And that Liberty team was a good team, probably one of the better teams that we played. We came out and played a disciplined game and kicked a field goal to beat a team that I felt was a quality team and a team that's generally beat up all these freshmen. And I couldn't be more proud of them. I'm super happy for them. A few other things I'd like to point out is, it wasn't how we wanted the season to be. We lost some games we should have won. We also lost to teams that were significantly better than us, but I feel like towards the end of that year, we really started to turn it around and really started to change our mindset to not just be, oh, I'm upset with my individual play and how I feel, but they started playing as a team. And that's really going to really impact, especially looking at all these sophomores and juniors that I'm seeing in the next year. You guys are going to adopt these freshmen that come up to a sophomore, and you're really going to take a team that came from a bunch of individuals to a team that's going to be molded into what Timberland football needs to be. And the record wasn't what it needed to be, but the attitudes towards the end really changed to what I felt like would be best for the team. And that's what I really love about this team. Is when we played South, it didn't end how we wanted it to end, but we played like a team. We won the second half, and I couldn't be more proud of this freshman group that I had. And I look forward to continue building that with them through the years. So for the freshman group, I'm proud of you. I can't wait to keep working with you, and I can't wait to see you guys again next year. Good job, freshmen.
Okay, when I call your name, guys, most of you are over here on this side. Why don't you walk up this side, and Coach Flood will hand you your certificate and award, and then just continue on through. Okay, and then Coach, if you're not here, just put it in the basket. All right, Bo Banzi, and basketball. Andre Boykin, Grant Ruckerhoff, Case Cooper, Anthony Dowd, Carter Dempsey, Michael DeWitt, Jackson Griffith, Gavin Fortman, Corey Fumagalli, Drew Gill, Caden Goodfellow, Isaiah Hamilton, Trent Hammond, Saxon Jones, Casey Lasser, Oscar Lit Basketball, Quentin Meyer, Jaden Morrison, Clayton Irvin, Noah Nance, Lee Nesson, Jordan Sally, Shane Sarah. Ty Shelton. Austin Slager. Landon Stolzer. Austin Stefan. Robert Warren. And Colin Williams. Okay, that's 3 classes from the freshman program. Thank you. All right, I'm going to bring Coach Arms up here to say a couple words about the JV program.
All right, so JV year, it's kind of a unique year for JV, just because of all the things going on with COVID and kind of had low numbers. We struggled at times filling out positions. We had a lot of kids who had to jump in and play a position that they never practiced before, especially the last game we had. So great shout out to all you guys for being flexible, stepping up, and always competing. As far as the season went, we had some up and downs. Some games we competed well. We got some victories. Some games were a little bit harder than others, but the thing I felt and what I liked is that we never quit. We always competed. We always fought hard. And when we struggled the first half, it would have been easy for you guys to put your heads down. But the second half, you guys came out fighting and fought to the end. And also, we had a few guys that started the season off in JV, worked their way up, and then actually got significant playing time in varsity and got some starting varsity reps. So overall, it was a good season for JV. Like I said, the biggest thing we want to do at that level is get you guys developed and ready to play for the next year. So as far as that goes, I think it was a success.
Coach Barr, you want to come up here and give Coach Barr a hand, please?
Oh!
All right, up first, Roman Adaway. Logan Barrett. Nathan Davidson. Creighton Urban. Van Gertven. Draven Goodman. Parker Hayden. Evan Holloway. Nathan Eastman. Tyler Johnson. Nicholas Cardenas. Connor McKay. Daniel Miller. Austin Peckman. Gavin Reeder. Bobby's not here. Isaiah Tate. Brayden Thomas. and Luke Worthing. Will Bontrager. All right, guys, 3 times for the JV team. Okay, next up, we're going to go with our all-conference awards. We don't have all-district and all-state awards at this time. Typically, the award ceremony is in December, and all that stuff happens once the state champions are crowned. And you know, again, how the whole process is going to work this year, I'm really not sure because we're not going to be able to meet in person. So all that stuff will get figured out. I will announce if we're lucky to get any all-district awards, and from that any all-state, I'll announce that stuff on social media, and I will let you guys know personally as well. But up first, our all-conference. Okay. Up first, second team all-conference, offensive line, Caden Gillen. Let's give him 3 claps. Second team all-conference, offensive line, Jackson Petty. Second team all-conference kicker, Josh Gibbs.
No, that's it.
Second team all-conference defensive line, Jackson Petty.
Yeah, 3 claps sounds weird.
Second team all-conference defensive line, Travis Reeves. Second team all-conference defensive back, Trayvon Kennedy. Second team all-conference defensive back, Dylan Niehoff. Second team all-conference punter, AJ Raines. First team all-conference offensive line, Andrew Bontrager. First team all-conference defensive back, Jay Harris. And then our all-conference sportsmanship award goes to Jackson Petty. Again, I'll let you guys know when we get the all-district awards and all-state, which includes all-state academic. Once that comes through, congratulations guys for your hard work. So next up is broken records. And we only had 1 broken record this year. Obviously, as the years go by, they get more difficult to break. But this is a big one because up until this year, and we had one tied all by the same individual, Josh Gibbs. Up until this year, we've had, I think it was 5 individuals tied for having 1 kick return for a touchdown in a season, which was also for their career. So Josh actually ties that again for the 2nd time. So he had a kick return for a touchdown last year, but now he owns the record for most kick returns for touchdowns in a career at 2, and we're looking to increase that again next year, and take the season record away by having 2 or more next year as well. Let's give Josh 3 claps. Okay, up next we're going to get going with our varsity awards. So again, I'll call the coaches up and we'll go through the process. I'm going to pull a little curveball here. I'm going to go first and then talk about the girls real quick, and then we'll start with Coach Collins. So everybody that's getting a varsity award, you're assigned to 1 coach. We had a couple coaches that can't make it. Coach Rams with wrestling and being at one of the elementary schools now, and then Coach Cord, his wife had to take over their swim practice. She's a swim coach for another school, and that was kind of a last-minute deal, so he couldn't make it as well. So some of you guys are split up to other nearby coaches if we couldn't get you to the offensive side or defensive side as well. The coaches will talk, like I said, some will do things a little bit different, and we'll get your award. Coaches, please check for your seniors if they get a 4-year award, and mention that as well. They have a separate certificate there. We usually kind of, we're so caught up talking about them, we kind of forget to mention that, and that's an important thing. But first, I'm going to get going with a couple individuals that make game day much easier, and it would be very difficult without them. First is going to be Brooklyn, and then
intelligence and your effort out there were really great to watch as a group. It's one of the best groups on an offensive line we've had in a long time. You really kept us going as we tried to get something rolling on offense, and just wanted to say that. Also, the seniors, I mentioned a couple of you guys with the O-line, Jackson and Josh especially, your leadership this year. I had you guys in class last year, and I know you guys wanted to have a great season, and the attitude that you guys brought to the off season and during the season was really neat to see. And the success of a team and a program really has a lot to do with how a couple of guys at the top step up and the way they conduct themselves. I just really appreciate the way you guys handle yourselves on a day-to-day basis. And all the other guys, we had Elijah for a while. Jack got hurt, but I could tell he was going to have some fun this year. Matt, Joe, and Kyle on a scout team helping us out all the time. And Dylan and Trey. It was a great senior group, and I just wanted to say thanks to you guys. All right? My individual awards here. Okay, I'm going to let you guys sit there while I talk about you, and then I'll bring you up, okay? First guy is Dylan Nienhaus. Dylan, as a sophomore, we could tell you were a kid that loved the game. And Coach Art and I really started to notice last year that you were starting to turn the corner and become a viable guy that could compete at the varsity level. But I think what you did this year surprised everybody. All the roles that you took and all the things that you did for our team this year, it was really neat to see. I always just kind of go back and look at the stat sheet and I try to reminisce about the year. And I noticed that you had returns, you had a defensive return, a punt return, and a kick return, multiple kick returns in games. I remember on offense a lot of heart and blocking. I remember your big catch against Holt on the sideline. But all in all, I remember just your contribution on making our offense go as a senior leader at receiver. Okay? But Dylan was also our leading tackler in the program this year. Always neat to have that feather in your cap to be the leading tackler on the team. So come on up and get your award, Dylan. Dylan's also a 4-year award guy. So I'm going to give him a 4-year award and then his athletic award. Good job, Dylan. All right, my next guy is Kyle Howard. All right, Kyle, appreciated the way you conducted your business all year long. You were willing to help out everywhere we needed you. I know that you contributed a lot when we were on offense, helping us out, helping us get ready every week. I know you had other roles as a kicker and stuff like that, and you're a 4-year award guy, and that's awesome. One of the big things I remember about Kyle is the Fox game, first game of the year. I noticed, Fox had some big guys, man. I mean, they had some of the biggest guys we played all year, and I remember Kyle throwing it in there against those guys. And it's brave for a guy that's not as big as that's not going to be able to match up size-wise with a 6'4", 220-pound running back. To throw it in there all game at the end of the game, and it was really neat to see. So again, 4-year award, athletic award, senior Kyle Howard. Give him a round of applause. Is Ryan DeKerber here? I didn't see Ryan. Okay, I have some great things to say about Ryan. He's a hard-working kid and did everything that we asked of him at quarterback. He got better all the time. But what about put the one sit on, Coach? All right. Last guy I got is Josh Arndt. Josh, I've seen you grow up in the program. I've seen you do a lot of things. I talked about your leadership already. But I want to just mention to everybody, this is a team guy. This is a guy that we asked to do a lot of different things this year. We gave him some roles that we ended when he's a leader when called upon. So I just appreciate all the roles that you played on our team. Josh scored an offensive touchdown rushing and had a passing touchdown as well. And I mentioned this several times. We went with other guys at quarterback as the year went on, but I was adamant that the year needed to be started with Josh at quarterback. And I feel very strongly that everybody contributed in the game, but I don't think we win the Liberty game if we don't have a senior leader that early in the season at quarterback. Running a new offense and just hanging in there when times were tough. And when we didn't, or when things weren't running real good yet. And we had to have a guy in there to keep the show rolling. Offensively, that's what I think Josh contributed. Obviously on defense, he was a mainstay at different positions, but second in the team with tackling with 48 tackles, total tackles, and he had the most assisted tackles. And I think that speaks a lot to Josh's character and the way he plays, because the assisted tackle stat to me is a hustle stat. A lot of times you're not the guy that got there first, but you make sure that you got in on the play. And to me, I always find the guy that has the most assisted tackles on the team, and it's always that guy that you wish you just had every year. Okay, so Josh, come on up, man. Good job. Josh is also a 4-year award guy. I don't want to forget that. 4-year award and a varsity award here for Josh. Thanks, buddy. All right, Coach.
Okay, up next is going to be Coach Marks.
All right, let's start off with a couple of guys who aren't here. First, we got Elijah White, who joined our program here as a senior. First-time player and stepped in and made some key contributions for us early on in the season. Next, see Daniel Gardner. I don't think he's here. Daniel did a good job for us as well. Unfortunately, his season was kind of cut short with injuries. Every time he seen us start to get going, another one popped up. But he was very eager to learn and improve, and looking forward to good things next year. Hopefully he can stay healthy. All right, next, see we got Josh Portman. Josh here. Josh, go ahead and come on up. So Josh, I thought he really improved throughout the season. He stepped up and helped us out a lot on, especially on scout defense, giving us our offense a good look, being aggressive out there, always willing to volunteer and help us become a better team. He never complained, a very coachable kid. He just kept working harder and harder, and his work paid off. Towards the end of the season, you played an increased role in JV, and I think you got really better, and it's a great block for us out there, so great job. Next, we got Jake Wilson. Jake here. Jake. All right, so Jake was another first-year player for us. He was really always wanting to help out anyway he called upon. I thought he improved his route running a lot as the year progressed and showed some flashes of explosiveness, and looking forward to good things from him next year. Andy Thomason. I know Andy either. For Andy, I thought he also got better throughout the year. He kind of, at the beginning of the year, he kind of struggled with tracking the football receiver-wise and catching, but I thought he kept working at his craft. Definitely got better as the year progressed, and made some pretty good plays for us at the JV level. All right, next we got Bryce Howard. Is Bryce here? All right, Bryce, coming up. All right, so Bryce stepped up for us this year, played a big role for us on offense. At the beginning of the year, I know he wasn't happy with his playing time, and he came up to me and sent me a text and asked what he can do to improve. receiver level and really stepped up and sprung some long runs with his great blocking. So great job, Bryce. All right, and then next we got Caden Fry. Caden here. All right, Caden also played a good role for us at the varsity level. Kind of got off to a slow start. He started for us at the beginning and then kind of had some setbacks there. Again, it was due to his blocking. He came up, we told him about it, we worked with him about it. You know, he didn't pout, he complained. He just worked harder, worked every day in practice, and definitely got better as the season went. And again, saw more playing time as a result. He had some great blocks that led to a couple long runs and a couple touchdowns. And also was one of the best playmakers we had. Kate, I think you have one of the best skills for the track of the ball and fighting for the football that we've seen in quite a while here. Any type of jump ball, it's not a 50-50 ball with you. You're coming down the board more times than not. So great job there. And you finished the season tied with the team lead with Travis with 3 touchdowns. So congratulations. All right, and then there's one more thing overall. Just want to thank the receivers. Again, I know this isn't the ideal, or wasn't the ideal offense for receivers. You know, it's not going to get a bunch of stats, a bunch of balls served your way, but I think you guys did a wonderful job accepting the role and embracing your blocking role and helping us have a successful season. So thank you very much.
Okay, up next will be Coach Lewis.
What's up, everybody? I had the pleasure of coaching the AVACs this year. Completely different scheme than any of you guys have played before. I believe a lot of you guys stepped up. Learned a lot this year. A lot of you guys grew overall, not just as players, but as men. I've got 3 guys right now. I believe 2 of them are not here, so I'll just speak on them briefly. This individual, he had 16 total rushes with 1 touchdown. Then he had 1 reception for 11 yards. This guy is definitely the most vocal member of our AVAC squad. At this point in his career in high school, I think he's played every position from his freshman year playing quarterback to last year kind of being more like a hybrid receiver type role. This year he played AVAC. He also played a little bit of B-back as well. This award goes to Glenn Scott. Our next guy is also not here. One of the big sophomore contributors to our AVAC squad. He had 9 rushing attempts, 3 yards per carry average. And then this guy had 2 receptions for 18 yards total, but these were in very key situations, getting us to that first down marker. Really felt like this guy kind of came out of a shell and really started progressing towards the end of the season. And then he came down with an injury and had to miss the last few games. We're really excited to see him grow and see what the future holds for him. This one goes to Sam Warner. And my last guy is here. I'll call him up at the end. He had 36 attempts for 300 yards, averaged 8.3 yards per carry with 4 touchdowns. He also had 1 reception for 39 yards. Also had 32 total tackles. He had 18 total punts where he averaged 34 yards per punt. He had 7 kick returns, averaging 31 yards per kick return. The big thing that I remember, besides copying and pasting, stop blocking with your hands in the South. He's a great kid. I feel like he has grown a lot. He's learned how to control his emotions. And then he took all season to finally figure out how to block. We're excited to see what he can do next year. This award goes to Josh Gibbs.
Up next is Coach Nessie.
All right, let's see here. Is Johnny here? Johnny is here. How you doing, Mike? I didn't see it. Anthony's here. Is Minor here? Minor is not? Okay.
I got a few of you guys. I just wanted to reach out. Coach Nessie, I did the D-backs this year. This was a bit of a culture shock for me coming from the junior program, so I'm glad you guys allowed me to come in and work with you guys this year. I've known a lot of you for a long time, so I appreciate the opportunity. Excited to see what you guys do next year. But we do have a few guys I wanted to speak on. I'll start with Johnny. Johnny, I know you moved over to the D-backs a little bit, past halfway through the season, but saw a lot of great things out of you, man. You improved every week. A lot of the stuff that we taught you as it relates to blocking and running and the assignments associated with the new role, you really took it in and took the challenge and did a great job. You ran hard. Excited to see how you improve next year. So if you can, come on up and receive your award, Johnny. Appreciate everything you've done. All right. Now we'll go to Anthony Lapazzi. Anthony's one of the kids that is one of my favorites. Obviously he's always hungry to be in there, wants to start, wants to play the game. That's what we look for in an athlete. Did a great job this year, man. Great job as a junior coming out, taking on the role. A lot of assignments as it relates to D-back. You know what I mean? There's a lot that you got to do, not only just receiving the ball and running, but blocking. And staying on assignment for what you got to do. So Anthony did a great job. We look forward to seeing you next year as a senior, and we'll see what happens. Come on up. And I don't think Matt Minor is here, but Minor is a senior, so I just wanted to speak on for a few minutes. Great guy. A lot of you guys know him. He's one of those athletes that we can go to. He's always on the sideline ready to go in the game. Would ask if he could go to the bathroom or get a drink of water, and then he would come right back ready to go back on the field. That's the kind of soldier that we look for when we're playing football. But Matt did a great job as a senior and a varsity player. Was excited to be able to coach him. He's a great young man. I'm sure he'll do great things after high school. So we'll get this to Matt later.
Up next is Coach Brown.
All right, guys. We'll talk a little bit about some of the offensive linemen that I had the pleasure of coaching this year. Thought we had a pretty good season up front, played pretty physical, and the part that surprised me most was how healthy we stayed. We had a lot of guys who were competing for spots, and they came out week after week, and they really did well. So we'll talk about a few guys, even though I've been talking about you all season long. Okay, first one I want to talk about is Ben Weir. Ben, come on up. Ben, I thought this was a great season for you, especially this was a year that definitely you improved, and you proved to be most improved because of it. I thought you did the best that you could with putting together some big drives that we had, especially against St. Dominic, and then just your willingness to kind of take on the knowledge of the new offense that we had, and just was clicking with you well. So just wanted to thank you, and you had a great season, sir. Everybody give Ben Weir 3 claps. Is Jack here? Borgmeyer is not here. So I just want to say something nice about Jack. Jack, I got to meet as one of the first classes that I got to coach, had the opportunity to coach in this senior class, but he's a guy who really kind of adds on to the character for what this senior class is all about. And you know, it's something that I was really excited to see him come back out to the program and contribute. But we all know that the injury cut him short. So it's been nicer to kind of see Jack fulfill his last year in the program. Everybody give Jack a round of applause. Next, Steele Perry, come on up. Yeah, Steele, you're probably one of the most dependable people I've ever met, man. I mean, honestly, you're just fantastic. So everything that Steele has done for this team this year, he's just the guy who's kind of put on the armor every day and just went out to battle for us. Playing center, took up guard position, learned how to play the tackle position, anything he could do to get on the field. He was the guy who, you know, I would call the utility guy. He was definitely our next guy in. And then also what you did on the defensive side of the ball. You're playing defensive line, you stepped into a big linebacker role there towards the tail end of the season. You really kind of put a lot of big stuff together for us through the games. I love your willingness to work. You're one of the most coachable individuals I've ever met. So I'm really, really excited to see what your senior year holds out for you. Everybody give Steele 3 claps. Gillum? Oh, yeah. So Gillum, he had a really, really nice year. He was one of our all-conference linemen. Had some really big games, really big blocks taken on the tackle position. I think for his overall stats, he ended up having multiple games where he had 4 knockdowns. He was one of the guys who was climbing up that leaderboard for knockdowns. Always asking questions about what he could do to get better or certain things with the scheme. Just a knowledgeable player, and it's excited to have him back and ready to go for next year. So everybody give Caden 3 claps. Bontrager. Come on up, Andrew Bontrager. Just kind of headed into talking about last summer. It was really kind of awesome seeing you start to develop and evolve into taking on, like, acting and playing like a senior. And I think a lot of that really helped you because I think you stuck close to a lot of good seniors with this class. So that was really kind of nice to see. So it's going to be kind of a nice catalyst to see what next season develops into. Andrew was our overall leader for knockdowns as we kind of kept that stat on the offensive line. He had a game high of 6 versus Zumwalt North. You really kind of, you know, from making an adjustment from the offense that we ran the last couple of years to this one, you really kind of showed that you're very versatile as a lineman and able to go ahead and be able to complement any other kind of offense that we look to run. So everybody give Andrew 3 claps. Good job, bud. You're welcome. I want to go ahead and bring both of these guys up because they're very similar. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but you're both very, very significant. So I want to bring up Pooch and I want to bring up Lawless, please. Come on up. Yeah, so another couple pair of guys that were, that I had the opportunity of coaching my first year as you guys were freshmen. And it's just kind of really awesome to see you guys really stick it out all 4 years. Watching you guys grow up, I know I go on a hiatus and then coming back and then just looking at the offensive line position, we were in good shape. We had a lot of good guys that were playing and these guys continue to compete. I talked about this with a lot of guys who were playing at the junior varsity level to use these guys as examples. These were guys that were varsity caliber players, but they didn't shy away from the opportunity to compete. They knew that their opportunity to compete was at a different level on different games. And they wanted to use that to get better, and they did. And I'm very, very you had a game high of 4 against Fox for your knockdowns. Okay, and you ended up competing there quite a bit. And Lawless, you ended up having 5 against Troy. Okay, so this was both an offense that really kind of complemented our linemen. It was really nice to go ahead and keep some stats like that this year. It really kept our guys competing. So let's go ahead, let's give a big round of applause for these big seniors. And then I forgot to mention, Steele Perry, you had 5 knockdowns against Holt. That was a big game for you, bud. Good job.
All right, up next is Coach Winkelman.
Gentlemen, good to see you guys. I was not meant to prepare for this. I thought I was going to go last as usual, so I'm going to curveball there. I got a few of you guys want to talk about today. Is Keon again? All right, Keon, no Keon. Give him a round of applause at the end. Or now, that's fine. So real quick, Keon, he's the type of player that you want to have on your team. He's really a fighter. Every single day at the game, I was at the USD with me and asking for reps. That's something that really sticks out as a coach. Kid who typically doesn't get a whole lot of reps. He was always fighting, always wanting more and more and more. You can see it when he was on the field. He made the most out of every single play he was in. And as a coach, he was a joy to watch. So, Keon, I'm looking forward to your senior season, man. I'm excited to see you come out. And then I also have Dury, you're here, right? I saw you. I'll call you at the end, man. You can stay there for now. So Dury is the ultimate team player. He's one of the type of players you love to coach. He's always ready and willing to do whatever you need him to do. Whatever he asks, he's willing to do it. He's also one of the most coachable players I've ever seen. So that's pretty amazing as well. Ethan, you're one of the kind of players who you're like the glue that holds the team together. That's something pretty special, so it's something you should be proud of. Guys, give Dury a round of applause. You go get it. Alright, next I got Michael Bruce. Bruce, you're here, right? Awesome. So, Mike, I wish I would have seen you play more, man. I'm not gonna lie. You had two injuries that kept you off the field. Well, 3, I think, actually. Ankle, shoulder, then knee, was it? Yeah. Honestly, I know you were bummed, but I was probably just as bummed as you were to not see you play this year. I was really excited. Coming back to the program after a year gone, I came out to the summer workouts and you're a guy who really impressed me. I was really excited to see you play. So it was a shame we didn't get to see you play a whole lot, but honestly, it wasn't due to a lack of heart. That's for sure. You're one of those also one of those guys who would fight and would work hard and just wanted to be out there. I remember specifically, it was early on in the season, I think it was Coach Hanna, who called you out for coming ready and wearing your practice jersey and being ready to go despite the fact that you were injured. And I think that's leadership right there. Despite the fact that you weren't on the field, you're still leading your teammates. So that's something pretty special as well. One thing, man, just no more dunking, all right? Don't dunk the ball anymore. Michael Bruce, give me 3 claps, coach. Don't get your little one. There you are. All right, Kim, are you here? No, Justin. All right, so Justin was kind of a workhorse of the D-line this year. Every single game he played, and he played a lot, right? He almost never came out unless he was cramping or had a tweak or an injury or something like that. That's pretty special, right? I knew if I called on him, he'd always be there. He'd always be willing to play and willing to really sweat it out and get the job done. So, Justin, I'm excited to see you lead the defense next year in that D-line spot, so I'm excited for that. Give Justin a round of applause. All right, last and certainly not least, Jackson Petty. Jackson, I'm gonna start with this, man. When I got the call telling me that I got hired here and I was gonna be able to coach here, I was super excited for a multitude of reasons, but one of the biggest reasons was I was excited to coach you again. I was looking forward to it, and to be honest, you were the type of that every coach loves to have on their team. Because not only are you a leader on the team, but you're a leader off the team as well. You made your teammates, you made them better players, but also you make them better people just by being around them. And by being that example and leading through that example. So you're just an impressive kid. You're going to go on to do some amazing things in life. I know that for sure. And I just want to thank you, Jackson, because as a first-year coach, I couldn't have asked for a better player, a better leader. All right, so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. All right. Well done, Captain. Well done.
Coach Winkleman throwing us a couple of curveballs there between three claps and rounds of applause.
Coaches, Gooch, I want to give a shout out to you for being the Johnny in the spot in defensive line. I knew if my two boys were out, that you always counted on you to get the job done, so I appreciate that. Boncho, proceed.
All right, up next is Coach Hannah. I'm trying to keep the screen active because if it goes to standby and it turns off, I'm never going to get that projector back on. It takes too long.
All right, guys. So I will call the name of the person we'll talk about. They can stay there. They come up after, and we'll just give them a round of applause when they come up. All right, so we won't switch it up between three claps and a round of applause. All right, so I have the pleasure of coaching inside and outside linebackers, which ended up being a multitude of guys throughout the season. Some guys who planned to play there, some guys who did not plan to play there. But nonetheless, we had a good time. And the first two guys I'm going to be talking about were sophomores who at the beginning of the season, they probably had no intention or belief that they would end up being starters. And neither did I. Not that they're not capable, but it's great when you have an opportunity to develop young guys at the lower level. But they were thrust into some other things. So the first person I'm going to talk about is Carson McCaleb. All right. When I think about Carson, he is someone who's willing to go to battle anywhere and everywhere. So even though he was only a linebacker, didn't play anything else besides that, like some of our guys, he played inside, he played outside. I asked him before a game, 2 hours before a game, to be prepared to play a position he never played. Okay, playing will linebacker. And I also, had a conversation with him when unfortunately Ryan went down, and we called him 3 hours before that game and said, "Hey, you're starting tonight." And he was just always ready to go. So a sharp dude, student of the game, always dialed in. I can count on probably one finger how many times I've had to ask him to pay attention during practice. And we just need more guys like that. So we got plenty of things to work on, but that's for an individual meeting. So Carson McCaleb, come on up. All right, now next guy, Ethan Watson. All right, he was another one late in the season, was called upon, challenged him to step up and perform at the varsity level. Was always a go-to guy at the JV level. And when I think about him, I think about someone who's very headstrong, very natural in their movement as a linebacker, and I think that will continue to develop into a great linebacker with tweaking some things that he does, tackling a little bit lower, right, Watson? That's right. But he likes to hit, and he's natural, so you cannot teach that. Guys that want to come downhill, guys that want to play physical in the game of football, and so I look forward to seeing him develop over the course of the off-season, next year, and into his senior year. Ethan Watson. All right, moving on to junior group, guys. Next person we'll talk about is Ryan Nessie. Okay, where's Ryan? There he is. So, I had the opportunity to work with Ryan a little bit later in the season because, we started off in a 4-3, and we went back to 3-4, and then I ended up with outside, inside make sure that we're disciplined, and I think that we can have something special. So I look forward to working with him next year and having a great senior season. Okay, Ryan Ness. All right, Trevor Buskin's not here, is he? No. So I'll still talk just a little about Bus. You know, I know that he didn't necessarily get the amount of playing time that maybe he would have wanted, but this is the type of guy that will bring his lunch pail and go to work every day. Okay, another guy that loves to hit, another guy that's all in and is willing to challenge those around him, to practice the way we need to practice dialed in, and to take things seriously. So I really appreciate him. Would love to have him here to speak about him, but look forward to him coming back next year and being somebody who contributes for us at the varsity level. Okay, Trevor Buskin. Hey, moving down here, Dylan Downs. I get a chance to talk about Dylan, another outside linebacker. We got an opportunity to coach more as the season went on, as we went back to 3-4. And when I think about Downs, I think about somebody who always wanted to play. We asked him to play JV and varsity. I think probably there for a while, he played 6 quarters like every week. And it's one of those where I know that's not necessarily what he wanted to do always, but it seemed like, you know, when I would watch the JV game, as soon as the game started, all that mattered was winning and putting our team in a place to win. So I think about a guy who has a lot of fire, a guy who's really tough, and someone who became more of a vocal leader as the season went on, whether it was in the weight room on Monday or just kind of having that, you know, if we have to fake it till we make it, you know, and have the right attitude. He was somebody that I feel like we could really start to depend on. So I look forward to seeing more of that as we go forward, and you being a really good leader over the off season and the next season. All right, Dylan Downs. Yeah, next person I have the pleasure of talking about is Riker Brown. I know the season didn't go the way he would have liked, or I would have liked for him. You know, came in a lot more confident this year than last year. Where's Riker? Song. There he is. You know, a lot more confident than last year, you know, which comes with the opportunity to start as a sophomore and get those starts under your belt. You know, I think that, you know, going forward, you'll continue to be someone who's playing with something to prove, because the season was cut short, and I have no doubt that this injury will just be a small blip on the radar of things to come next year and moving forward. And so I look forward to working with you this offseason to make sure you're physically, mentally, and just ready to go for next season. Okay, Riker Brown. All right, last person we're going to talk about, I get to talk about Joey Keever. Is he here? No? All right, so Joey's a senior. You know, this is my second year here. My understanding is Joey was somebody that played for us as a freshman, right? So he had the opportunity and decided to come back. He was in my weight training course last year and mentioned that he wanted to play, and I encouraged him to do so. I think he battled to be on the field. You know, struggled to pick up the game at times because, you know, being off for a few years is difficult, but I think his character is what I appreciate most. And in short, he's just a good dude and somebody that showed up, and I know didn't play the role they necessarily wanted to play, but was someone who still really appreciated being in the game. And my favorite memory for him was him getting the opportunity to play against Fort Zumwalt South after we looked up on him there, and the enjoyment that I saw him have, getting an opportunity to fly around and play the game we love. So that's for Joey Keever. Up next is Coach Flett.
All right, first one I have is Cyrus Fitzinger. Great kid, great opportunity. Coach him, be around him a lot. He's a kid that will work hard for you, that do whatever you need for him. I don't think he's here, Cyrus is here, I don't think he is. But glad to have him on the team, glad to have him as a kid that I got to know. So Cyrus Fitzinger, thank you. Give him a round of applause. Next is Star, the Zamboni. Really happy to give him that nickname. I've never seen a man so wide with his arms. It's huge. It's fantastic. Positive. hamstring. Oh yeah, coach, they're great, fantastic, got the best hamstrings ever. I'm like, are you sure? No, they're good. First quarter, oh coach, they tell them, those hammies, they're out. The entire time, I'm like, hold it, I knew he'd do it. I was pissed at him the whole time. The rest of that game, I knew he was too. Yeah, they struggle with hamstrings most of the year because I think if you would have had those healthy hamstrings, I think it would have been a really different season for Snar. I'm really proud of them. The one thing I'm really happy about, as much as I love the seniors that I have, is that everyone in this pile I get to have back next year, so I don't want to compliment them too much because I know I'm going to have them next year. So, even Star, great year, great opportunity to see you get destroyed. You better heal those hamstrings so we're going to do better next year. Even Star, going up. Next one I have is Martin. Martin is Mr. Reliable. He was the guy that came in and did the work that we needed to do. If we needed him to bear crawl, he bear crawled. We needed him to go up against the best player at West, he went up against the best player at West. He did the best he could, he did awesome. Great positive for Martin was the Liberty game. And at that time, Martin wasn't getting any reps yet. The first time we really started putting him in was at that Liberty game, specifically in the second half. And we were really worried because Reeves at that time was pretty tired. He had to get in some reps because he was getting a lot of offensive time. As we talked about Snar's maybe hamstrings, he was out by the second quarter. He was gone. So I'm freaking out. I think at the time I had Steele and Martin in. We're like, man, I hope this works. And Martin played out his mind. And I know that, and you guys knew that game. At that point, we needed to win that game. And we had both our starters out, and Martin played out his freaking mind. And I couldn't be happier to have that win, to have Martin contribute to that. And that made him one of the dudes. That made him one of the guys on the DN. And I couldn't be prouder of Martin. That's the positive, and that's the memory that I'm going to have of Nick Martin. So Martin, come on up. Couldn't be prouder of you. Next one I have Cooper. Okay, Cooper's one of those guys. I put him in one of the worst situations, and it really challenged me as a coach. Because I asked him to play one of the hardest spots that you can as a coach, which was to play the guy to go in potentially. So there's a lot of times I had Cooper where I'm like, Cooper, you might get to play, you might not. And Cooper would give me that little and it was unfortunate to see because I love him. Cooper's awesome. I couldn't be happier. I'm glad I got to get you in the South. But he stepped up and he didn't complain, didn't moan. He got in when I told him to in practice. I worked out when he needed to work. And he got his reps. And that's the great thing that I like about Cooper. Cooper's one of those guys that I can go to and rely to. When I need him in a pinch, I know he's ready. And the reason I know he's ready is the one thing I'll remember the rest of my life about is at the same time, both Snar and Reeves went out, and I had to put Steele and Martin in. Who was my backup guy? At that time, Cooper wasn't that backup guy. So I went straight to Cooper. I'm like, do you know what you're doing? No, coach, I don't know what I'm doing. Didn't pay attention all week. I'm like, that's dirty, Cooper. And so the entire time in the second half, I'm watching Martin, and thank God Martin and Steele are freaking shutting down lately. But I'm pretty sure I had my hand on you the entire time, and just listening to you guys make adjustments, you and Hannah, because you guys made a great adjustment during that game. And then I listen to you, and I look at you and shake you. Did you hear that? Yeah, coach, I heard it. Okay. God, you better be ready. And I don't think they got played again, like maybe one first down. I think they barely got 1 or 2 first downs that second half. Thank God I didn't have to put you in there and active because that was so bad. That's a memory I'm always going to have. Thank God I'm going to have you next year because you're going to make some awesome memories next year. Cooper, come on. Last one I have is Reeves. Reeves is not here, but I know he's at practice. Reeves, man, stepped up. He was our speed. He was our stallion. He was the one that got on the outside and got those sacks. Big thing from him was South. He played like a man against South. He dominated them both offensively and defensively. I couldn't be prouder of Reeves. I'm glad he got that opportunity to get second team all conference. That was amazing. Memory that I'll have of Reeves, just because I'm going to have him again next year, is let's talk smack on him. It was against Troy. And me and Snar talked about it. I'm like, bro, I'm going to start Reeves. He ain't going to last one bit. And he started played out of his mind, and I couldn't be prouder of Reeves. So let's give a round of applause for Reeves since he is not here. Good job, Reeves. That's it for me. Good job, Ethan.
All right, thanks. Okay. Are you guys done with practice? Yeah? Come over and get your awards at least. Oh, I got yours here on the table. All right, up next is Coach Barr.
All right, I don't know how I'm supposed to follow Coach Flett with all of his energy that he brings. My energy's gone from teaching kindergarten. First of all, I want to say just how much I enjoyed coaching you guys this year. It has nothing to do with record or anything. It's all about your guys' attitude and visibility. And whenever the season was done, after that Hal game, I mean, I was like, man, I want to keep going. I'm already pumped up for the next season. Okay, and that's because of the attitude that you guys brought to practice every single day, and the energy that you guys played with on Friday nights. So the first guy I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do the same way Coach Hanna did and Coach Flett. You guys stay there and then come up at the end. Is Nick Turner here? No, he's a basketball player. Did not know Nick was a basketball player. When it comes to Nick, I was thinking about how his season ended last year. And if you guys don't remember, it ended during the JV game where he was on his back, where he had a neck injury. We didn't know necessarily how that was going to play out. It was kind of scary. But then thinking about where he ended up getting to this season, where whenever he was out there, we were a totally different defense than when he wasn't. Because the mindset that he had in the safety position coming down, being a force player that was always going to go hit you in the mouth. And I think that's a big testament to Nick in terms of how he approached the offseason last year to get ready for this year after his injury scare at the end of last year. So I'm real excited to see Nick next year and see what he can do. So Nick Turner, give him a round of applause. Gavin Schaefer. Gavin, I mean, couldn't ask for a more quality kid than Gavin. He started out starting at corner and played the entire game against Fox. Then we had a conversation in terms of what was best for the team, and he, without skipping a beat, understood, and he's like, whatever's best for the team. Okay, and every single time I talk to him, he's always making eye contact, yes sir, no sir, and those are types of things that I mean, just stay with you after, like outside football, whenever you're done with school, into the real world, and that's going to take you a long ways. And I just think you're a great kid, and I'm real excited to see you get to work in the off season, get a little bit bigger, faster, stronger, just like you did last year, and see what you can do your senior year. Gavin Schaefer.
Got an award up there.
Well, AJ's next over here, but I'm going to let him get a second to get a mask on before I call him up. Trey Kennedy, I don't think he's here. So Trey, I got to coach him for the last 2 seasons, and during the first season, I think he said a total of 2 sentences to me. I mean, but he came to work every single day, and he kept getting better. This year, he said more than 2 sentences. He was a joy to coach. And anytime there was a bubble screen or anything he knew that Trey was going to come up and pop somebody, probably force a fumble and cause a big play. I just really appreciated the way his approach to going to work. I never heard him complain a single time the entire 2 years that I coached him. Round of applause. And Trey was also a 4-year player for us. Gotcha. All right, Nick Turner's here. Nick Turner, come on up, give a second round of applause. Nick was also an all-conference, all-academic award winner as well. Okay. Jay Harris, I don't think he's here. I think everybody in the room knows the ability that Jay has, but I think his biggest leaps as a football player this year were in terms of him being a teammate and his attitude. And I think most of us, or all of us, should know what I'm talking about. Where I remember a practice where we were working on kickoff, and he's always back there returning kicks. And then I remember Coach Renz was getting on to, Lampazzi, go down there and run. What are you doing? Well, then Lampazzi was fired up. Jay catches the ball. We have nobody blocking, but Lampazzi goes and kind of plays a little hit on Jay and knocks him to the ground. And then Jay's head pops up, looks around, and I was like, oh God, what's about to happen? And he pats Lampazzi on the back of the head. Nice hit. And I just think that type of attitude of trying to get his teammates better this year just says a lot about the steps he took as a player and a person this year. So Jay Harris. Jeffrey, you got a mask yet? All right, Jeffrey Federoff. I really enjoy coaching Jeffrey. He is somebody who, I think he's a kid that just loves the game of football. And I think we can never use enough, or we can never have too many of those kids where he just loves to compete, loves to play, he loves to be around his friends, and loves to play the game. And so when I was thinking about Jeffrey, something that I kind of overlooked most of this year is, as a sophomore, being the holder for the varsity it's kind of a nerve-wracking thing. But Jeffrey earned our confidence as coaches to where we knew he was going to go out there and do a nice job, to the point where at the Liberty game, whenever the fiasco of timeouts and all that stuff, I knew we were going to have a good snap by Steele, and I knew we were going to have a good hold by Jeffrey. The kick was the only thing I was worried about, but I knew we were going to have a good snap and a good hold. I'm just giving kids a hard time. But I think that just says a lot about Jeffrey as a player, to where we had that confidence in him, and I'm really excited to see what he does this offseason and into next year. So Jeffrey Federoff. Jeffrey was also a all-conference, all-academic award winner. Nice job. And AJ Raines. AJ, I love coaching AJ because he is a competitor. He competes every single play, and that's during games and at practice. And his attitude and his energy is kind of infectious, toward the point, during JV games, whenever he makes a play, it gets everybody up. And I think, thinking about how his year went, he was essentially, I kind of told him many times, I said, you're a varsity player that's playing JV, and that's the mindset you have to have, and that's the mindset he took into every JV game, to the point where whenever Zumwalt West happened, all of a sudden he went from really not playing on varsity to all of a sudden being the quarterback, starting corner, punt returner, and he did that the rest of the year, and I think that was because of his attitude and mindset that he took to practice in every JV game leading up to that point. So I'm real proud about how AJ performed this year, and he also was the second team all-conference punter, correct? And all-conference, all-academic. So give AJ a round of applause.
I'm going to have Coach Flapp come up here again real quick just to give Trav
Top Wolf Award. Unfortunately, this year we weren't as lucky to have you guys all come down and help us and sponsor us for the Junior Worlds to help these kids continue to grow. But over the years, there was a particular player who's obviously senior year, because you're only getting this in your senior year, who stood out, who was there his junior year, hung out with the kids, came to the games, kind of talked to them a little bit, and that resonated with me. And not only that, but he was active and trying to be part of it this year, but obviously he couldn't because of COVID. But with that, I think the Top Wolf Award this year goes to Jackson Petty. So Jackson, you got football that's been played in a 7th grade game, an 8th grade game, and a 6th grade game. So that goes to you. A bunch of the players signed it, your coaches signed it, and this will go in the trophy case with your name on it. So it's already on there. So Jackson, congratulations. Real quick plug for all of us, so we get on Twitter. All right, thanks. Also, just real quick, big plug for our program. Not everybody knows this, but next year we're going to be kindergarten, 1st grade, all the way through 8th grade. So if you guys got a younger brother or sibling, anybody you guys want to know, we'll be kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade flag. We'll be 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th tackle. So if you guys got siblings or anybody know, bring them to the Timberland program. Next slide.
Hey, real quick, corner of my eye, guys, is Miss Caitlin. Let's give her 3 claps for her. Good job. Thank you so much, Caitlin. Glad to have you here at Timberland. All right, so up next, towards the end of our program here, is our team awards that you guys voted on. So when I said that some things are going to be a little bit different, they have not come in yet, the mini helmets. So I don't have it to give to you now, and I'm sorry about that. But they should be in soon, and I will get them to you. Once they do, I'll get them, I'll call you guys up and we can get you here to have those. But we'll go through the list and we can give 3 claps to our winners for each category. Starting up first will be our Offensive Player of the Year. That's going to go to Jay Harris. 3 claps. Up next is our Defensive Player of the Year. That's going to go to Jackson Petty. Our Special Teams Player of the Year, Josh Gibbs, for a multitude of reasons. Kicking and returning. Great job, well done. Our Offensive Lineman of the Year, Andrew Bontrager. Our Defensive Lineman of the Year, Jackson Petty. Our Offensive Scout Team Player of the Year, Josh Gorman. Our Defensive Scout Team Player of the Year, Trevor Buskin. Our Most Improved Player, Austin Gooch. And our Team Leadership Award, Jackson Petty. Okay. Congrats to you guys. Again, well earned. I can't stress this enough more than any other year, how much we work together as a team. And I think any accolades were, there was many of you were involved in earning those for each other. Looking over the stats and stuff towards the end of the year, everything was pretty much evened out, all across the board. And I think it speaks volumes as to how much of a team we were, and we counted on each other to do our jobs. So, going forwards, I do have a couple announcements, but first we're going to go ahead and just going to say thank you once again to you guys. Okay, thank you so much for all the work and stuff you put in for the season. Thank you to the parents and everyone involved.